Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth with sincerity. And a shout out to Yakims out there in the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Bracha the Yahweh, Bracha the Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakakadash, Bracha Don't. So, finally, I'm feeling just a bit better. You know, as I've rested my voice, speaking just as little as I could, but still trying to put up edifying lessons, because that's how we grow in this, is by putting up edifying lessons, you know, giving us our daily bread, you know, and that's what I hope that I've been doing in the absence of being able to do newer videos, you know, to where at least I had enough old ones and then was able to comment on a few things that are going on in the news, such as the fact that now, you know, Joe Biden, yours truly, has made a new mandate to where masks are not only mandatory for all means of public transportation, including airports and bus terminals, but you have to be dual layered, 2 masks, you know, because that's what Fucky, the child molester, says. You know, Dr. Fucky, well, we said it before, we'll say it again, that if you thought that Fucky was gone, no, FEMA's still in charge. It still is the coronavirus task force made up by FEMA. And in fact, FEMA's giving out the, you know, jabs. So pretty much FEMA is still running everything, you know. And to those that are doubters, though, that, you know, FEMA, you know, will put people in concentration camps, just take a good look around. Look at everything that's shut down. Think about it. They will, in fact, be locking a lot of people up very soon. You keep hearing about the quarantine camps. Well, that's because they are making them. And they've had them for some time. You see, they just changed the name from FEMA to COVID camp to quarantine camp. You know, because everybody has fell for the virus. And the whole thing is a hoax. You know, plain and simple. And to find truth videos out there, you know, is getting harder to do. So Famine of the Word is right around the corner, you know. And I decided that, okay, you know, it seems to be a target, a key word, you know, calling your videos camp. So I'm just going to call it something else, but, you know, so I think I'll just call it what my channel's been called for a while. Israelite Foreigner Rating with a date in front of it. So that'll be the next camp video. Ottawa Ratazah, I'll be able to get out there tomorrow. I think I'll take a Vicks lozenge and maybe a zinc, and then see how that goes, you know. Ottawa Ratazah, I could do a whole half hour. If not, I might have to do a little bit shorter until such time as I'm able to do full lessons, you know, as doing everything I can to stay on point and stay grounded in this. So I hope everything else has been edifying in the meantime, you know, as we look into more things as I switch over to the screencast. So taking a look at things going on and the Great Reset and how that leads all to the mark of the beast through the coronavirus hoax up to what's happening now.
The Great Reset. You may or may not have heard this phrase circling around the internet for a while. It sounds like something you might read in history books describing some historical event that changed the function of the world forever. Well, it's not in any history books yet. It's happening right now. Or at least, it might be happening right now. No one seems to be sure exactly what it is, when it will happen, or if it will happen at all. If that sounds confusing, you're not alone, as it seems almost everyone is as well. The Great Reset was proposed in May of 2020 by the World Economic Forum, an international non-government organization, or NGO for short, founded by Klaus Schwab, a German engineer and economist who also seems to be the leading force behind the idea of the Great Reset. The WEF is committed to improving the state of the world by, quote, engaging business, political, academic, and other leaders of society to shape global, regional, and industrial agendas. So, what is it? Well, it's essentially an action plan to enhance sustainable economic growth in the aftermath of the 2020 pandemic. The idea is that because the effects of the pandemic have been felt on a global scale, there is an opportunity to fundamentally change how the world economies function for the better. There seems to be a heavy focus on environmental sustainability, economic sustainability, poverty, and inequality in wage and income gaps. This all sounds pretty good so far, but this is actually where the trouble begins. You see, the amount of information that is available to the public is limited to say the least. On the World Economic Forum website, there is an entire page dedicated to the Great Reset Initiative. On the page you will find a few sentences with vague calls to action for global stakeholders to band together to directly manage the repercussions of the global crisis. Another section talks about there being a unique opportunity with the world in the state it's currently in. It feels a little strange to talk about the global crisis as a unique opportunity, and reading further they begin to talk about creating a new social contract directing national economies in a new direction.
They own everything and you don't.
It just all feels a little strange, and it begs
you'll
the
be
question,
just as happy.
who are these people and how are they going to be able to do this? The only other pieces of information given are two videos. One being a 45-minute Zoom meeting with Klaus Schwab and a cast of other internationally involved individuals who are no doubt
AKA Amalek.
and the other being the WEF Sustainable Development Impact Summit 2020. Both of these videos are, to say the least, not very informative. There is a lot of talk, but never does anyone specifically lay out what the Great Reset is, or how it will be put to action. There is a lot of talk about poverty and homelessness in Los Angeles, refugees and the impact the pandemic has had on them, displaced people and joblessness, but most topics brought up in the Zoom meeting were in most cases pretty much common sense. Yes, people who don't have a lot to begin with, or were struggling prior to the pandemic, will most likely be affected the hardest. When things get tough, the first people to be affected are the poor and less fortunate. Presuming that was the point they were trying to make, that it's obvious that that's a problem and we need to fix it. That makes sense, but over the course of the entire conversation, no one ever related it back to the reset or put it into any context of any kind of actionable change. The whole thing is an air of convolution and people feel it's a little cryptic. However, it could just be a case of poor communication. The web page, the videos, the lack of information, it seems like they don't know who they are targeting with this message. It's almost as if they are trying to appeal to the rich and powerful, while at the same time trying to make the average person believe the message is for them.
And that's just it. You see, that's just a little bit of both. It's just a little bit of both, but hey, may as well talk about it because others, there is a restaurant apocalypse, which is all part of the Great Reset as well, to get rid of restaurants, to get rid of going out altogether, social distance and all that. They pretty much want everybody to stay at home, so that way they can make their moves and nobody ever sees it. Nobody ever questions anything.
Hello, people. This is the Extra Spicy Podcast. I'm Justin Phillips.
And I'm Soleil Ho. The restaurant apocalypse is upon us. The coronavirus pandemic has had a major economic impact on the restaurant industry since its outset in March. In the wake of lockdowns, paired with little material help from the government, more than 100,000 restaurants and bars have permanently closed, leaving hundreds of thousands of employees out of work across the country. And those are just the numbers as of December 2020.
We'll discuss the many ways restaurants have had to pivot their operations to accommodate constantly changing restrictions that have left many owners frustrated and in debt. In many cases, they've had to close down their restaurants completely.
Yeah, the habit's
so
closed
and
ready.
This is a heavier episode.
That was actually doing pretty good.
Material, but we think that this is really worth listening to. And we hope that this glance into the industry will help you better understand just what's been going on. To get an inside look into how restaurants have been coping during the pandemic, we spoke to Samir Moghanem, chef and co-owner of Beit Rima, an acclaimed restaurant chain that serves up Arabic comfort food in 3 different locations in the Bay Area.
My restaurant, we don't have any sandwiches. We don't do shawarma, which are great, but I wanted to do something a little bit more elevated, a little bit more like, what people don't know, So I wanted to show people that, hey, our food is actually just more than tabbouleh and shawarma and hummus and falafel. We have other things to offer.
Samir took over his father's restaurant chain, Burgermeister, and had just remodeled and opened Beit Rima's 3rd location in Daly City last year on February 1st.
I worked really hard remodeling that place and building that place, and that location's been in our family for like 15 years. We've done a lot of family parties there, and it was doing well by the end of February, and people were really embracing us in the community and really loving the food, and
Beidrima was nominated for a James Beard Award just 3 weeks before California's first shelter-in-place order. On March 15, all restaurants in California were ordered to shut down their dining rooms.
I'll never forget just going into, my first location after just being at home for a couple of days watching the news and trying to figure out what was going on. I remember coming to the store and seeing it kind of empty, and that's when I just kind of started breaking down and crying. It's such a dramatic thing, to go from like a 2-hour wait, everything's going good, you're on top of the world, to you don't even know what's going on,
And that's just it. You see how Babylon the Great has fallen? And that's just it, though, is you see, a lot of people don't want to admit that it's fallen, but let's face it, it doesn't get any worse than it already is. But hey, here's another guy that pretty much, man, if you're affiliated with him, man, they're going to come after you. Any mention of Donald Trump, and they're going to come after you, if you, are conservative or whatever, just like what Lisa Haven was saying.
Well, you talk about setups. In this situation right here, this raises flags for a lot of people, especially people out there that voted for Trump or people that were attending his rallies. We have a woman here that has been basically haggled by the feds, left and right, here for the past several weeks. She went on a vacation to Mexico. As she got to the airport, she was stopped. She was screened. She missed a flight. They had to put her on another flight. They said that all of this was because they caught her on facial recognition via AI in the Capitol. She admitted she went to the Capitol and that she was allowed to go to the Capitol, but she did not participate in storming the Capitol. They go to take a flight out of there. They're harassed again. Later on the next Friday, the agents show up at her house. They also detained her daughter that was never at the Capitol. Her daughter has since taken several flights for work, and she has been harassed at the TSA screening every time. They then came to her and said, "We have evidence from CNN video that it looks like you entering the Capitol." And she had to fight with them and say, "That's not me, it looks nothing like me." Can you believe that this is happening, folks?
Yep, and that's just it. You see how everything has become 1984. And the whole thing was nothing more than a setup, because you see the Most High is shutting this shit down, and Esau's using it for their world agenda. You see, there's a great reset, and it's just all part of the New World Order, So anybody that doesn't agree with the New World Order, which is Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, well, pretty much, man, you're going to be the target of the FBI, the CIA, and whatever else.
We have word that the police have now made a move on Nick Smith. This is a man that has been out in his village for the past 17 weeks, helping the people, feeding the people, until...
And that's not allowed in the New World Order.
...intervened. Now, they tried to say that he violated COVID rules for encouraging people to gather. He's fighting this, and other people say that that is extremely vague in terms of a statement. Smith, however, is citing the exemptions under the rules for volunteering, which allows for up to 15 people to gather, either indoors or outdoors. So everyone's like, which is it? Can we do this? Can we not? And this has just created so many issues. And I've got to say, out of all the countries and places that I've witnessed the clampdowns go extreme, the UK has been hit severely, severely hard. Just left and right, all across the place. And now they're taking out men like this. So it's...
See? Causes all, both small and great, rich and poor. You see? You can't help out the poor. The government ain't going to let you go through with it, and the government is the New World Order. So, well, you have that, and then now you got these fucking retarded masks, and it wasn't enough that you have to be fucking retarded to wear a fucking mask, to want to wear a mask, but no, man, they really want you to fucking cover your nose this time. They want double mask.
Taking a look here at the latest announcement coming from the CDC. They are stating that all travelers must wear 2 layers of a mask here. I'm going to try to explain this as they're putting this, because they rule out several things that people have been wearing, and they say that that's not going to work no more. You're going to have to change it up. And in this order that they put out late Friday, they say that they will require people to wear a face mask while using any form of public transportation. That includes buses, trains, taxis, airplanes, boats, subways, ride-share vehicles, all within the United States. This order goes into effect at 11:59 p.m. Monday, or today, and they say that the mask must be worn while waiting, boarding, traveling, and disembarking. The coverings need to be at least 2 or more layers of breathable fabric secured to the head with ties, ear loops, or elastic bands. Scarves and bandanas do not count, the order says. Well. The CDC says that it reserves the right to enforce the order through criminal penalties. But it strongly encourages and anticipates the widespread voluntary compliance of this. So it goes on to finish it saying that it expects the support from other federal agencies to implement the order. So the feds. Comprende? I'm going to break this down further on what...
So you see, federal mask order, which we said that Joe Biden was going to do it, man. He said in his own words that he's going to make mask mandates. Well, now you see the results of that, you see. But nonetheless, though, that's what's going on here. So I hope all this has been edifying like everything else, though. We're just going to keep on watching the times, and hopefully all these videos have been edifying.
Shalom Yasharala, peace Israel, Kahalayim La, Alahayanawa, Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahushua, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, double honor to our apostles and elders of GMS, peace and blessing to the hopeful elect, Shalom. It's going to be a quick vid, man. I'm going to entitle it, The Prophecies Are Speaking For Us. You have to be blind to not see it. The prophecies are speaking for us. You have to be blind to not see it. I'm at an Exxon gas station and they have a sign up that says contactless ways to pay, which shows you that they're moving cashless. They're moving towards being completely cashless, all right? Contactless ways to pay. You got the Exxon Mobil, so they have an app where you can pay, all right? You can pay for gas via the app, Exxon Mobil Rewards. You have Amazon Alexa, which is artificial intelligence. You can use that to pay for gas. And you have this right here. It's the big one. Coming soon. Hold near reader to pay. Yep. Using your phone. You just hold it near a reader. That's plain, man. And this right here, this is the pay wave symbol. So basically you could just wave it over the reader and it'll scan it. It'll pick it up. All right. This is undeniable, man. Now, for me, this wasn't enough for me to do this vid. This really stood out. All right. All of this stood out. And that itself, this in itself stood out. But what really made me do this vid is when I saw this over here. They already have it set up, man. Okay? You can just hold your iPhone up there to pay for gas, all right? This is plain, bro. Then you got Google Pay, scan or tap QR to fill up. The QR code, which is the quick response code, supposed to be more secure than a regular barcode and hold more data, hold more encrypted information. But this is plain, all right? It's plain, bro. So we're in the end, prophecy speaking. We almost about this bitch, man. Kahalayim La Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Kahalayim La Alahayanahu Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Once again, it's another edition of the Daily Edification Exaltation, coming to you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. All praises and glories definitely due, especially in these times. And speaking of these times, here's a perfect example of the scripture here that the Apostle Paul wrote. These were words the Apostle Paul wrote to the Israelites in Corinth, Greece. And although he wrote these words more than 2,000 years ago, now is the time where these words are really coming into fruition, okay? They're really coming into play. And these are the words right here, 1 Corinthians 7 and 24. I'm sorry, 7 and 31. The 31st verse, it says, "And they that use this world as not abusing it." Now here's the point. "For the fashion of this world passeth away." For the fashion of this world passeth away. And a great example of that was the festivities that happens during the New Year, particularly New Year's Day, the beginning of it, which according to Esau begins at midnight. And particularly here in New York City, it usually is a big affair with thousands of people congregating at what is known as Times Square in Manhattan. Well, this year it was anything but, and Elder Apostle Ramlab did a video on that. He mentioned that, and the brother from the main camp, One Gabar, he also did a video on it, and I'm going to feature his video in this video. The part where he speaks about it in a video he did entitled NYC Times Square was dead this year 2021, hasten unto the coming of the day of our Lord. And one of the things that the scripture said, it said that the joy of the earth, or the mirth of the land, rather, the mirth of the land would be gone. And this is a perfect example, okay? So without further ado, let me just play it for you, those of you who haven't seen it. This is the name of the video. Again, NYC Times Square was dead this new year 2021, hasten unto the coming of the day of our Lord. So without further ado, let's take a look at this.
As not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. Perfect example again. Let me show you. Right here. This is a fashion of the world. Celebrating New Year.
Now you're going to see a dramatic difference between 2019 going into 2020 at Times Square. And remember, the lockdown didn't start happening until February, or was it March of 2020. So 2019 was, business as usual. 2019, the ending of 2019, going into January 1st, 2020, was business as usual at Times Square. And as you clearly see here, thousands of people attended the festivities that normally happens there every New Year. Well, you're going to see a big dramatic difference, and that's that scripture coming into realization. The fashion of this world passeth away. Also, the mirth of the land is gone. We're going to read that scripture too. So without further ado, let's play it again.
Okay, in Times Square, waiting for the ball to drop.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I was talking to the elder brother Amana Gun. When he was up here, man, he was telling me that you got Edomites out there in the crowd who be wearing diapers because, they see like somebody deep in this crowd right here, like anywhere in the middle of the crowd, Ain't no bathrooms out here, man. You know,
that's
ain't nobody gonna run
disgusting.
across to try to find a local,
That's the
you know,
Edomites for you.
Starbucks or McDonald's and and separate from their family, all that shit. So they wear diapers. These Edomites wear diapers so they can fucking take a leak or a crap in their damn diapers and go on about it. You know, that's filthy, man. That's wicked as all hell. You know, talk about the basis of all men. But anyway, this is the fashion of the world that passeth away. A perfect example. Look at it. Look at that. From 2019, New Year's Eve going into 2020. Just this year, 1 year ago, to just 1 day ago.
Look at that.
1 year ago, 1 day ago.
Look at that. And it damn near looks like a ghost town, man. That's a perfect example of the mirth. Let's get that. I mean, if you can't see that, then shit, I don't know what to tell you. And is it going to get any better? Hell no. It's going to get worse. I thought 2020 was a bad year. Get ready for 2021. Bear with me for a minute. And pursuant to Ezekiel 3:17, our job is to warn you. Warn you Israelites out there that will listen. Because we already know not all of you is going to listen. The only ones that's going to listen is the Lord's hopeful elect. Okay, here it is right here. The book of Isaiah 24:11. So this is the prophecy, right? Let's start at Isaiah 24:10. It says, the city of confusion. What is the city of confusion? Basically America. America is known as Babylon the Great. Right? The word Babylon means confusion. So indeed, America is the city of confusion. And as we get closer and closer to the coming of our Lord Yahushua, there's going to be more and more confusion. More and more and more confusion. Okay? The city of confusion is broken down. You just saw the example, man, of how this place is slowly being broken down. Okay, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up. Yeah, you got something called the lockdown, and we, the word coming down from the so-called government is that we're preparing for another lockdown, because according to them, the Crown Vic, you know what I mean by the Crown Vic, the C-19 is getting out of control. It's getting out of hand, so we need another lockdown. Okay, so that's another example of the city of confusion being broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. And Times Square was basically shut up to the millions of people. Well, I dare say the thousands, maybe about a million, maybe, but the thousands of people that usually attend on midnight, January the 1st. Okay, this year, 2021, it was shut up to thousands of people. That's why it looked like a freaking ghost town. How can you deny this? Look at that. This is unheard of, man. Times Square. That's unheard of. Okay. I remember I saw this video. I forgot what video it was, about the same Times Square deal, And somebody put in the comment section, Times Square looked like the beginning of a horror movie. Like 28 Days Later, or one of those zombie movies, where the city is pretty much empty. Well, this ain't no movie, this is reality, man. That's what you're looking at is an actual, well, it says it at the bottom here, live video of Times Square on New Year's Eve. This is abnormal for New York City. And like I always say, man, New York City ain't never been the same after 9/11. All right, 9/11 was the death of New York City. Okay? And New York City is supposed to be the greatest city in the world. And look at that. Amazing, man. Anyway, let's read on. It says, every house is shut up that no man may come in. There's a crying for wine in the streets. And that wine is talking about, really it's talking about this truth, this knowledge. But also the spirit of partying, the spirit of jollity and being jovial. That spirit is slowly diminishing, man. Not only that, the prophecy also states in Ecclesiastes 12, the daughters of music shall be brought low. Look at the music industry. People are seriously disgusted with the music industry. And if you don't believe me, all you gotta do is type in songs from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, even the 90s, man. And it's like unanimous. People are saying, why can't music go back to the way it used to be back then? Well, the answer for that is, well, let's read the prophecy. That's the answer. Ecclesiastes 12:1. Again, that's in the Old Testament. So for you individuals, especially wacky-tacky Christians, you say that the Old Testament's done away with. How do you explain this prophecy coming from the Old Testament that's happening right before our eyes? That is the daughters of music. Well, let's read it. Ecclesiastes 12:4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. You know what that means? That's a metaphor for the jobs. And more people are losing their jobs due to this C-19 virus. Okay, more and more people are losing their jobs. More and more businesses, small businesses that is going out of business. Okay, so that's a metaphor of the sound of the grinding is low. The grinding represents your job. Even Jake today, they say that, yo, I'm on my grind right now. Meaning he's working, right? So, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. The doors are being shut in the streets, man. These cities are looking like more and more like ghost towns. There's this YouTuber I watch every now and then. He's out there in San Francisco, and he's always riding on a skateboard through the streets of San Francisco, and you can see how dead San Francisco is. And San Francisco is a major city, and the freaking city looks dead. Okay. So that's the prophecy. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up to the voice of the bird, which represents singing, like the birds, they sing in the morning, right? And all the daughters of music shall be brought low. All the daughters of music shall be brought low. So that's the answer to why you have such bad music in the charts today. Such terrible music in the charts today. There's your answer right there. The daughters of music are being brought low. The creativity is being taken out of music, and that's being done by the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bar Shem Yahweh Shai, who is the author of creativity in music. Not only just music, movies, man. Back in the day, movies used to be a delight to watch. Now, these movies, they basically suck. Okay? You can't watch a movie today if they don't have some kind of innuendo of either adultery or homosexuality. You know, and with the advent of CGI, you know, computer graphics, CGI, computer graphics. I forgot the last word. Brother can put it in the comment section. You're looking at movies, they just don't have the same effect visually like they used to when they were made back in the day, So everything on a low level, everything is being affected because we're coming to the end. Like George Carlin said about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, the comedian George Carlin, he said this country is circling the drain. He said that on a Glenn Beck episode. I believe he was being interviewed by Glenn Beck. He said this country, which is really a corporation, America is nothing but a corporation. He said this country, to quote his very words, he said this country is circling the drain. And circling the drain is a medical term for a person who's almost, near death's door. They put on the medical chart circling the drain, meaning it's just a few moments before this person expires. This person drops dead, So that's what's happening with this place called America. America is circling the drain, man. A great example is what you're looking at here. You can't deny it. So all you scoffers and you scorners, where you at? Right before your eyes, you're seeing the death of this place called America. And it's not going to bounce back. It's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. Okay? It's going to get worse until Yahweh Shai comes and destroys this society. So let's get back to Isaiah 24, and I'm going to wrap this video up because pretty much there's no more left to be said. Now at this point, all we have to do is watch. Continually watch to see what's going to happen, to see what next major event, major terrorist attack, major pandemic, see what else is coming down the pipe, because we know it's going to be all negative. We that know this truth, we know this, so our next job is to watch to see what will happen. As Yahweh Shai said, watch as well as pray. Why do you think he said to watch, Yahweh Shai? Because of the times that we're living in. Anyway, back to Isaiah 24 and 10 again. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There's a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. All joy is darkened. Is this not an example of all joy being darkened? Where are the people? And then I was thinking about it, man. Usually on that day, people make all kinds of money, selling those New Year glasses and those New Year hats, and man, there was none of that shit this year. So what about all those people that make that money selling those hats and selling those glasses and selling those different New Year trinkets? Man, this place is done, man. This place is finished, just like the prophecy says. Let's go back and read it again. You can't deny this. All joy is darkened. Even the most ardent scoffer, the most hardcore scoffer, which we had him a few years ago. We had some hardcore scoffers, man. Where are these motherfuckers at? All of a sudden, they're not on our comment boards anymore. Where are they? What happened to them? All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. How do you get around that, man? And this is the Old Testament. Again, for you Old Testament naysayers, all you deal is with the New Testament. The Old Testament is done away with. How do you explain what I'm reading here? Does that not fit in today's news, in today's geopolitics, what I'm reading here? It's a perfect example of the joy is gone, the mirth is darkened. Look at this. Times Square on New Year's Eve. This is unheard of. I'm going to go back and play. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let me just do it now. Let's go back and play what Amawan Gabar said. Yeah, I'm going to ride this, man, because this is amazing. Okay? Gotta be dramatic with this, to make the point.
But anyway, This is the fashion of the world that passeth away. A perfect example. Look at it. Look at that. From 2019 on New Year's Eve going into 2020. Just this year, 1 year ago, to just 1 day ago.
1 year ago. See the big difference in 1 year. It reminds me of the song, What a Difference a Day Makes. And we saw that with 9/11, man. 9/10 was business as usual. Normal, if you can call it that, normal. Then all of a sudden 9/11 happened and bam, overnight, the whole world changed, especially New York. After 9/11, it's never been the same. So what we're looking at here is an example of 1 year. Okay, so a lot of changes, brothers. A lot of changes are coming, and it's going to signify the end of this place. Now let's read the 12th verse. In the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. And all these major cities, most times they're desolate. I was telling you about San Francisco, and it's going to be a trend, man. It's going to be a trend. And you always saw that, you always see that in these horror movies. At the beginning of the movie, the city is usually desolate. All right? Okay, so with that, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you brothers were edified. It's on to the next video.
Alright, Shalom, first and foremost, all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Yahshua, Bashim Rakakodash, and belong to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone, and greetings, salutations, and blessings unto the elect. Shalom unto you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just read this and pull a couple scripts. Now, what I want to make a big point about is, and Lord willing this is edifying, is the reverse psychology that this devil's trying to use. Okay? It says, this is from Crown 4 News. Do you agree a Republican lawmaker suggested third stimulus checks only go to people who have received the Crown Royal vaccine waters? Seriously? Okay, so what he had you Jakes supposedly in frontline workers all at the front of the list. Okay, certain people were at the front of the list, and there's been a hesitation, if you will, for so-called blacks and Hispanics to get the vaccine waters. You know, and we've been seeing, and I'm gonna show you why. Hold on one second. I'm gonna show you why. Okay. Wow. Now, what do we have here? This is from the NewYorkTimes.com. Come on. I don't know where it goes. It says Hank Aaron, home run king. Now they don't want to play it. Oh, man. Who defied racism dies at 86. Hold on. Now, for some reason, the article I had just would not work from the New York Times. You know, because they're saying that it's fake news, okay? So, but let me show you something. Okay? So I'll put Hank Aaron death into Google, and they tell you it was January 22nd, 2021. Okay? Related. Now here's the thing. Baseball legend Hank Aaron's cause of death revealed. Okay, he died Hall of Famer died of natural causes. Okay, medical examiner says. Down here, 2 days ago, it says a boomerang effect. Hank Aaron's death is falsely linked to Crown Royal vaccine waters. Fact check. Look, fact check. No, Crown Royal vaccine waters didn't kill Hank Aaron. Yeah, this damage control. This man, look at him. This man was doing great, or had no one mentioned how bad his health was. Okay? No link between the two. Of course you're going to say that. Well, why would initial reports say that? Because 2 weeks after he in the article that wouldn't pop up, that because it's fake news, they got to take it down. They don't want me to read any of it. Not just me, but it wouldn't pop up. Okay. In his sleep, the cause of death was listed as natural cause. This just was amended. Okay, but in that article, and all the reports before, that's why they have to come and put all these out, that he died from the Crown Royal virus. Okay, and he got it and he passed away just 2 weeks after having the Maxine Waters. Okay, now they're trying to change it because this was widespread information. Okay, and they don't want that to be on there. He took it, older man in his 80s, he took it just to prove that we can trust the people out there and we can trust the Maxine Waters. Okay, and nothing would happen. But he passed away, among other people. Here's another one I'll pull up for you. Bear with me. Okay, this Maxine Waters thing is just getting all the bad pubs. It says Californian dies hours after getting the Crown Royal Maxine Waters, prompting probe. Okay, and they have been saying people been getting them dropping dead. So since people don't trust it, what are they saying? Well, you get your stimulus knowing that people are out of work and no jobs, so on and so forth. Okay, we see through the wiles of the devil, man. We see what he's up to. Okay, we see it. Let me read a little bit of this. It says, I don't want to go too deep. I want to jump down a bit. Recently notified. Let's see. It says here in the middle, the person that tested positive for the Crown Royal in December and had just been Maxine watered just hours before their January 21st death. So what killed him? They don't want to say. But they just show you that cocktail is just something that they threw together. It don't cure you. Or his system was overloaded because he had it in December a month ago, and now, he passed away from something else. Come on, man. You guys don't want no bad pub on it. That's why, no matter what you do, from the Mexican Cardinal, to the prophets out there speaking against this thing, telling the people not to take it, that you keep just taking our info down. I'm nervous that you're going to try to strike my page because I have more than one video with it. Okay? Anyway, it says that there was no indication which Maxine Waters, the person, had been given, but they're both, Moderna and Pfizer's been having problems. Okay? People dying in convulsions and so on and so forth. Okay? It said there are multiple local, state, and federal agencies actively investigating this case. It says any reports surrounding the cause of death are premature, meaning we have to leave it open-ended, just like they did with Hank Aaron. They don't want to get in bad publicity. But let's not forget what Bill Gates said. Okay, let's see if I can get what Bill Gates said. Now, I'm not gonna, I just put eugenicist Bill Gates creates vaccine, right? So I'm just gonna read to you what's going on in here so you people can see it for yourself. And if you want, go dig it up for yourself to get the real info. See what these articles are saying. But understand, he's on record saying the world is overpopulated, and if he were to thin the herd, if you will, he would use a vaccine. All of a sudden, there's a pandemic breaks out, and now he's created. He wants to save the world by putting money into these companies to make sure he saves everybody from this virus. And what's the penalty of the virus? Death, which is what he was looking for to thin the herd, okay? So this just says here, it says Bill Gates response to bizarre Crown Royal vaccine waters conspiracy theories. Now, my goodness, now it's just a conspiracy theory. Okay, long strange history of Bill Gates population control conspiracy theories. Okay. And they say that because of what we brought up with the Mexican Cardinal video. Foundation to implant Maxine Waters microchips in them. Fact check. The fact checker just thinks they're the final word of the world. Pandemic sequel makes false claims about Bill Gates. Of course. You know, how much further into this can we go? What page can you find it? But they're gonna flood the Google sites and the information with all these things saying that this false is false is false. Don't believe that. Okay. All right. Look at that one. Development and surveillance. Unbelievable. But all year, in the year 2020, we've been watching this guy say all these crazy claims. Before that, we watched this guy talk about wanting to depopulate the earth, just like it says in the Georgia Guidestones. Okay, so all of that, and then all of a sudden now, it's none of this is true because they say it's not. Look, more results. And there's more. Multiple false claims. Okay, fact checker, false claim, corona check. Come on, conspiracy theories. Let me check something else for you. Well, since I can't find it, I'm gonna just read this. But we know what you're up to, Esau, man. There's nothing you can do. You can't stop prophecy. And we see through your schemes. Okay, it says 2 Corinthians 2:11. That Satan should get an advantage of us. Okay, and that's what you're doing with all your lies. Okay, you're trying to get an advantage of us. It says, for we are not ignorant of his devices, so we're not ignorant of your trickeries, man. You see what you're doing. Okay, we know how you get down. All right, so you'll use stimulus money, you'll use even marijuana to get us to take this thing, man. But Jake don't trust you. Okay? Jake just does not trust you. Okay, and as things get tighter and tighter, yeah, you're gonna muscle your way and force people to take it. Okay? And they're not going to. But there was a meme or I believe it was an article or something to that effect. I can't, of course you can't find it anymore, right? When these things get out, the people that work on the internet search them out and remove them. Because what it was saying is so the people will get persecuted for conspiracy theories and false government claims. And I believe it was on Twitter. And the guy was like, so this is the big problem that we must be worried about. No, it was Tucker Carlson. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on one second. Slocky finally found it. Here we go.
They want power. This is a power grab. That's all it is. And you're complaining about it means nothing to them. If you needed more evidence of that, as if you needed more evidence, consider new legislation from Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy. She's a Democrat from Orlando. Murphy has proposed a bill that would ban anyone with the wrong opinions from having a significant job in the federal government. Believe forbidden things and you don't get a security clearance. You can't work here. Murphy's bill would require federal investigators to ask all applicants whether they had, quote, associated with or knowingly engaged in activities conducted by an organization or movement that spreads conspiracy theories and false information about the United States government. End quote. Wait a second. Conspiracy theories and false information about the United States government? Whoa, sounds like these people could be in trouble.
see evidence in plain sight on the issue of collusion. So there's clear evidence on the issue.
And you know, you make it seem, or he makes it seem as if there's like he's not up to anything. It's about these QAnon. It's about, you know, all this false. But no, we know what it is. He doesn't tell you who deems it true or false. Okay. All right. So the thing that these Hebrew Israelites are waking people up with are going to be able to be heard and seen all over the internet's already doing it, getting rid of it. Okay. And now what? We are not ignorant to Satan's devices, and this is going to lead right to, I'll grab the script now. It's going to lead, back to this a bit. Okay. Go right to the book of Amos. It's going to lead to the family of the world. Okay, in Amos 8:11, it says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord." Okay? Hearing the true breakdowns of Yahweh Shemashah, because they're just going to deem it false information about the U.S. government, or it's going to spread conspiracy theories. Okay? Look at the words: associated with or knowingly engaged in activities conducted by an organization or movement that spreads conspiracy theories and false information about the U.S. government. Who was that directly going after? That's going after us, the Hebrew Israelites. Okay? Indirectly, we know how Satan get there. Okay, we're not ignorant to your devices. We see what you're doing, and we see the famine coming. And we're happy, because that means prophecy is moving forward, as well as the first shift to be over. Okay, the ministry will change. So I'm glad I was able to bring that out. Hope you guys can see it. You know, they don't want you talking about this Maxine Waters. They don't want you talking about anything that's going to throw off their agenda. Okay, from having their new world order. All right. And so they're going to come down. They're going to drop the hammer hard. Okay. Another script real quick. One that just came to mind. Trying to keep these quick, simple, to the point. But Matthew 24, it's around here. Maybe 10, I think. Verse 9, it says, Matthew 24:9, "Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you. And deliver you up to be afflicted, shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake." Let me think what the other one is at. I believe it says, for councils. Let me see. It might be further down. Bear with me. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's another one in the Gospels. Let me see. Okay, I found it in Matthew. There's another one in Mark, the 13th chapter. But this one, I'm starting 16. It says, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. And be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves." Yeah, because they're going to come for us, right? So we got to be sharp and smart, that giving no offense that the ministry be not blamed. It says, verse 17, "But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues." Okay? We're going to bring it and say that ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in the same hour what ye shall speak. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you, of the Most High. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. Okay? That just gives you the severity of the times that we're coming into. In this bill, you see the bill right here. Let's see if I can. Right here is part of that. Okay? All right, proposed by Representative Stephanie Murphy. All right. So anyway, no one is edifying. I just want to show you. Okay, we're not ignorant of this man's devices. The famine of word is coming, and this is what they're pushing. They're trying to get the prophets off the street. Okay, they're persecuted, and they use the capital. They use all the different hate speeches, you know, and all the different situations and demonization of the Hebrew Israelites over a few to make us look like a violent people. They're using Black Lives, and they used everything to throw the book at us, okay? Because the main story, everybody can say what they believe the main story is. The main story is the script that the Bible's following, okay? Scriptures. So like I said, Lord witness is edifying, giving all praise and glory to the Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahshai, Ba'ashim Arukakwadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone, and greetings, salutations, and blessings on to you later. To the next one, Shalom.